Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about some of my favorite exercises, both for myself and my clients, because obviously my clients have a far more diverse amount of training things going on than I do as far as equipment, supplemental lifts, things like that. So a lot of people always say, look, you have to squat for big legs, and I'm a power lifter. I coach the squat. I make all of my clients squat, and yet we still do lots of other stuff for our legs, depending upon what's going on with the individual lifter. And I want to be the first to state that I think squats are a fundamental exercise. And I think, generally speaking, everyone, unless you have a specific reason not to, should probably be doing barbell back squats. However, for myself and a lot of my lifters, they don't constitute the majority of our leg training. And for many people, they're just simply not the best exercise in terms of things like stimulus to fatigue to building, say, the biggest quads. So you're going to see my lifters doing a wide variety of stuff. And I think you'll see Michelle here doing a very wide variety of stuff. And the reason, she's got very long legs. She's very tall. And you may not realize it looking here, but she's actually 5'9". Okay, she's got long legs. Right, it's hard to fill those legs out. She's got pretty long femurs. Makes her great at deadlifting, but we work for that squat. Right, she's closing in on a 300-pound squat now, and we have to work for every bit of it. You know, keeping in mind this is a drug-free submasters lifter. So in her case, you're going to see us doing stuff like this. You're going to see a lot of single leg exercises. You're going to see a lot of my lifters doing single leg exercises. If you guys go through the vlogs over the years that I've done client vlogs, I've done vlogs with over 20 clients at this point. You're going to see, especially for people who don't have access to a lot of machines, you're going to see a lot of single leg movements. In this case, she's doing a split squat with a safety bar, which I think is a real winner. Okay, as far as split squats go, I like a safety bar or dumbbells. I don't like a traditional like Bulgarian split squat with a barbell if we have other options. Okay, if we have other options. So if people would ask why that is, well, why is that? Because of balance issues, and then keeping your shoulders cranked way up unless you have really great shoulder health. That's a long time to keep a barbell up on your back. I personally can't do that. Right? It's a problem for me. And so for a lot of other people it is as well. All right. So she does those. You'll see Doug do them. People with limited equipment, because I don't want my people just sitting around squatting all day. And I'm not saying some of them can't. I think if we've got things like safety bars, we can do a lot more squat volume. Okay. But single leg exercise is pretty high on the list. All right. You're seeing her do one of the leg press variations. Okay. All right. Leg presses. Plus that hack squat type machine. I think they come by different names depending upon the type, but I like some of the standing squat machines like that. Now, they still have some axial loading, and that's one of the downsides, right? You are going to see that axial loading, which can be a bit of a problem. But in terms of the ability to get a super deep range of motion to light your quads up, some of those standing machines like that, the different ones, things like different names like pendulum squats, hack squat machines, a lot of those are fantastic for really getting a deep range of motion without having to balance it. Okay, I don't like Smith machines. I think some of those machines are better for it. You're not going to see me promote Smith machines. That's one of the things I don't. I don't want to get into all the reasons. I'm not a fan. I just don't think there's any reason for them to exist. Just, again, my personal opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But different leg presses also to where you're laying down. Okay, what's the advantage of a leg press? We'll get into hack squat I'm doing here. Also very similar advantages, but not quite the same. All right, on a leg press, we don't have anything on our back. So what does that mean from a stimulus to fatigue? Well, it means only the lower body's involved. Okay. Now on a back squat, that's not always desirable because we want some of that hinge pattern, right? There are benefits to that, but it's not for your legs. Okay, a lot of that hip hinge pattern can affect your glutes, but it'll affect things like the erectors, all these other things. Okay, we don't have to worry about that so much on a leg press at all, and there's no loading of the spine. Okay, now that's easy on recovery. That can bring a lot to the table. Okay, freedom of movement there. So we can also go to single leg on a leg press if we need to. A lot of my people do that. Right? Pretty versatile in terms of foot placement. All right, that can bring a lot to the table if we're trying to develop everything. And keep in mind, guys, we're oftentimes developing bigger legs to get better at our big lifts. Okay? Get better at our big lifts. Not purely for the sake of building our legs. Again, I'm a strength coach, not a physique coach. But, that versatility that the leg press brings, it can bring a lot in terms of foot placement on the slide, unloading the spine. All right, then of course you're going to see me having done that belt squat in there. So what's up with that? I love the belt squat. Why? All right, the belt squat is unique in that it allows you to squat. It allows you to set up everything exactly like you would on your back squat, but with zero loading of the spine. Okay? Because even with the split squats and things, there's some spine loading. Is it a lot? No, it's not a lot, but there is some there. We can't say it's zero. We go to the belt squat, there's none. We can replicate any type of squat stance that we want if your slide is wide enough. Anything from your power squat, really wide stance, all the way to an Olympic squat. We can replicate all of that with all the weight hung around the waist. Okay, so the hips are then, and the pelvis is supporting all the load because the weight's on the hips. Okay. No load on the spine while replicating a squat. So if you want to build the legs up exactly how you would for your different squat stances, that can be done on the belt squat. And again, keep in mind the leg in that case, not just a quad. We can go wider, get adductor, we can get a lot of glute. We can do the different stances. We can go out wide, we can go in narrow. All the weight is on the hip. And it can still teach us our squat pattern. Okay, there's direct carryover. A lot of these others don't have the same carryover, but they're great for development. Again, like I said, isolateral leg work like she's doing here. I like these with dumbbells or a safety bar. But again, if you have to do them with a straight bar, if it's what you have and your shoulders can handle it, there's nothing wrong with that. If you've got good shoulder health, good shoulder mobility, it's why they're a favorite for weightlifters. Because they have to have that for the snatch and everything else. Anyways, they have to have great shoulder mobility that, some of us may lack. Okay? All right, single leg exercises bring a lot to the table. A lot of these machines bring a lot to the table. Do not discount machines for leg development. As long as you're doing some free weight stuff, as long as you're doing some squatting and deadlifting, I could happily put a lot of my really advanced lifters on nothing but machines outside of their squatting and deadlifting and be perfectly fine with that and get them way up to the elite level. Not a problem. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.